Going over to the political part podcast, you have useless bureaucrats being fired, going viral on social media, thanks to Elon Musk and Doge getting rid of government employees, which not all, but many are useless and mostly just getting a lot of money to do very little at all. Now, this comes with thanks to Defiant L's on X, and when she says, just gonna leave this here. And these are two posts by the same gal. Now, her name is called The Blonde Girl, hashtag OU Girl. Really ridiculous. And in 2024, she said, quote, I didn't have any meetings today, so I've been wearing my jammies all day, but now I have a meeting in 30 minutes, so putting on a hoodie. Eventually that WTF life gonna getcha? So her average day was apparently doing nothing, sitting around, and I'm not sure she's legally an adult, I should clarify that. Perhaps rudimentally mentally vacuous because she uses the word like jammies, which I don't know anyone respectable who would use that vernacular. And yeah, her average day is just, hanging out in my pajamas and I got one 30-minute meeting. And she's getting paid a full-time job. Now, beautiful, interestingly enough, her update comes from February 15, 2025. She says, quote, I was terminated from my dream job with the Children's Bureau yesterday due to the federal restructuring executive order, DOGE. I'm unemployed for the first time in 15 years. Since I was 15 years old. Wow. I hope you get your effing cheap eggs. We will eventually, but interestingly enough, last year a lot of chickens were killed because they claimed there's a pandemic or chicken flu or whatever, the bird flu. Imagine your tax dollars paying for that lazy POS's salary for 15 years. If she was the federal employee that long, 15 years. This almost as bad as Elon bought X. And you found the gals and a couple guys who were just bragging about taking one meeting a day. And the rest of the day, they're on the Twitter headquarters in the office, drinking champagne and playing games. I can't but see a lot of parallels between what used to be Twitter and the U.S. government in terms of corruption, ineptitudes, and terrible spending for basically no good results. Now, this went pretty well. I got 21 million views and 29,000 likes. And I can't but think, when you think of your average federal employee, probably a lot of them are going to be let go because Elon's going to show up and go, what did you, or I'll try Elon's accent. I'll go for it. Might not be great, but say, yes, what would you say you do around here? Which, it's probably the worst accent of the year, but perhaps that's an accolade in and of itself. Because, I can't suspect a lot of those employees, maybe they work like 1 hour a day. Probably not the hardest workers. People join, on average, the federal government for job security, to work there for 38 years doing pretty much nothing, and they get a fat pension. Again, there are outliers, and again, I've had family on both sides of the political aisle, union versus non-union, and again, some of them are good, don't get me wrong, but I can't but think, majority of them probably like this girl who calls herself that blonde girl, which, I guess fact check true, she is a blonde girl. Now, going to some top comments, you have Liz Churchill simply saying, laugh emoji, getting 281 likes. Scrolling down more and more, you got Bow-Tied Queen Bee says, quote, sucks to live in the real world, huh? There's an article that says, traumatized U.S. aid worker who survived George bloodbath, describes horror of watching everyone get axed. And then at the bottom is a meme of DeFranco guy? But he's about to be hung on the news. It says everyone without cushy government jobs. Because in the movie he does first time or something like that. What is it? Charles DeFranco? He's in the Spider-Man movie once. But nevertheless, I got 2.3 thousand likes. We also have, going down more and more, Kenny Jensen saying, quote, Musk didn't fire you, the American taxpayer did, getting 899. Let's make it 900 likes. Lee Bobentender says, quote, blondies can A, learn to code, B, learn to apply for a job at the Keystone Pipeline. Karma's a bitch sometimes, getting 1,000 likes. Marie says, quote, guess she'll have to get out of her jammies and get another job. Dream job for her was suckling off the taxpayers' tits, never leaving her house, and OU girl, I take my eggs sunny side up. That's where your new job should be, Waffle House, getting 379 likes, which I would argue is a great insult to the institution of Waffle House. While there might be a copious amounts of tobacco in the air and some inebriated workers, they're 1,000 times better work ethic than this government employee. Perhaps if not 2,000 times more effective and better, because they actually, produce a service and actually give you goods. Whereas let's be honest, most government workers do none of those things. You also have Bruni Berlou saying, quote, I hope for cheap eggs too, but glad to see we won't be wasting any more taxpayer money on paying for you not to work. getting 915 likes, which, yeah, imagine how much money we're going to save just by not paying inept and corrupt people to sit around all day. The savings are going to be huge. Or as Trump would say, huge, the greatest savings of all time. 99.98% of all federal workers are just sitting around watching CNN all day, tweeting around stuff, but not anymore. We really actually need 10 employees in the federal government, and they did everyone's work, which I know you won't be able to reduce it that much, but maybe, 90%? Let's see. Any contrarian comments here? Anyone sticking up for this gal? America Madness says, quote, sounds like what we all knew this was, a meaningless job that wasn't necessary and needed to be axed, getting 645. Let's make it 646 likes. You also have Slight Strider saying, quote, we're never to brag about working from home when primary mission of the Children's Bureau is completely face-to-face work and supervision of foster care and adoption, as well as child abuse prevention. Then you have the fat gif of Homer Simpson sitting on the couch with a broom, trying to type at a keyboard when he tried to work from home. When back in the day, like the show's theme of that episode was, if you're like 300 pounds, it'd be considered, it shouldn't be, if you caused it because you ate, but a disability, so you could qualify to work from home. And it was a comical thing, back in the 90s to weigh that much. Now it seems to be average, which isn't good. But that got 987 likes. Let's see here. One more. Nick's Dank Memes. You know what? Play on Memes got an F- for this episode. Nick's, you get an A+ because he did, in fact, respond in meme form. He says, quote, I'm enjoying this a little too much. This is a Joker movie. We got the anchor of the TV show saying, quote, let me get this straight. You think thousands of bureaucrats losing their jobs at the same time is funny? And Joker goes, I do, and I'm not, and I'm tired of pretending that it's not. Getting 2.2 thousand likes, which, I thought we could make it 2.3 thousand likes, but nevertheless, I did like it. So yeah, we'll see. And of course, like all true leftist, that girl known as OU Girl, or the blonde girl, she locked down her profile and says these posts are protected. Because again, these leftists know that their ideals and their actions are they're all indefensible, so the only way they can exist is by censorship and blocking people, which is why every time there's a leftist that's busted, you see them turn off their accounts, they see them block people. Very similar to how you see some of these big businesses who get in trouble, they'll lock their comments so you can't say anything, which knows how you're the loser. You're indefensible, your actions and what you are. So hopefully we see a lot more of these layoffs and bring down the cost of the U.S. government. Let me know, what percentage of the government do you think we can cut and still and actually operate efficiently? I was about to say and still operate, but I mean, at this point, I would say we're not really operating at all. I mean, to get an NFA item, it was taking between 6 and 9 months if you want to get a suppressor, if you want to go through a trust. Again, it's electronic now. You submit it online, you pay them $200 extortion tax, thanks to the 1934 NFA Act, and it's still taking 6 to 9 months to get paper back. That's ridiculous. There's no reason that shouldn't take more than 18 seconds with a regular background check, but they have to, all the NFA crap. And you have to involve the U.S. Treasury Department. And it takes months. And it used to take almost a year. It's just, I think it's also corruption because they don't want you to have fun toys, but that's just me. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments, because it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I really appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. First live stream, again, it's going to be Q&A live stream. It's going to be tomorrow, February 22nd at 6 p.m. Texas time, or some people call it 6 p.m. Central time. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.